So first of all, welcome everybody to Seattle Revit User Group. Final meeting of the year. Gorgeous day outside. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are just kind of taking their time getting here. Nice, cool, crisp winter day. Well, fall day, but might as well be winter because it's scraping windshields in the morning now. But that's cool. I like it, especially when the sun's out. So for those of you who haven't joined the Seattle Revit User Group before, welcome. First time here. We are AEC Community Technology Group. Obviously, our emphasis is Revit and BIM collaboration. So, obviously, the way that we have it structured, for those of you who've been here many times before, we try to make sure that we're designed and service all the disciplines. So, we may get heavy in one area or another, and certain topics, but we always try to make sure that the balance is there for everybody, because what each one of our disciplines do definitely affects each other. So we do our best to make sure that all groups and disciplines are covered. And based off today's presentation that you saw, which I'm sure a lot of you are looking forward to, as well am I. So who's our Revit BIM design technology managers in the group here? Got a few of you guys around? All right. And who here maybe is your member of a committee, of a team that helps set up standards and contributes to them, get your voices heard? Okay, good. Well, I'm sure you guys get a lot of good information out of this. It's always great to see how other groups do it, or other experts have viewed certain topics and subject matter. Compare and contrast, maybe even validate some of the stuff you're already doing. So it's should be a very interesting presentation. I'm definitely looking forward to it, Chris. Okay, obviously our sponsors for the year for 2013, this is our last meeting, so I want to make sure to give extra special credit to everybody that supported us this year. Starting, of course, with our executive sponsors, PPI Group, who's actually our host sponsor for today's meeting, ID8, and Imagine Technologies. The premier sponsors that we had premier partners, that we had this year, Tetra 4D, Canon Solutions America, and Quarry Group. So we definitely thank their support. And of course, all the associate partners, a lot of the firms and organizations in the area that have partnered with us: Wood Harbinger, Freiheit No Architects, GLY Construction, Mulvaney G2 Architecture, Leidig Construction, PCS Structural Solutions, FSI Consulting Engineers, Invetrix Engineering, and Integris Architecture. And obviously more information about sponsorships on our meetup site, and I'll actually talk a little bit about that, obviously going into the new year. Okay, many of you have probably seen Revit Update Release 2 is out. They don't like to call them service packs anymore. I guess bad connotation or something, I don't know. It's an update. It's not a service pack because it wasn't really broken. We're just updating it, right? I always love it how they language some of that stuff. It was released just a couple weeks ago. If you haven't got the notification about it, just go ahead and check it out. And of course, as usual, many performance and stability improvements on a lot of the functions you're already using. They have the PDF that has the whole list of all those items that they improved upon. Update 2 is also interesting because if you're a Cloud Render user, any Cloud Render users here? Anyone leveraging that? If you haven't, check it out. So a lot of the pains that a lot of us have had with cloud rendering coming out of Revit, Update 2 actually is resolved to support and fix many of those conditions. So maybe you tried it before, you didn't like it, you're like, oh, I'll wait. Maybe this is a good time to check it out and revisit it, see if it's going to do what you want. So, speaking of some of these rendering updates, one of the big things, improve for material textures as well as graphic integrity of linked models. So if you ever had any problems with linked models, maybe that should work better for you now. Excuse me. Supported custom RPC and ArchVision RPC entourage, which was always a big thing for me because you have these scenes, you want to put some entourage in them, and you really couldn't because it couldn't push the data. But some of these I have yet to test, so I'm just basically reading some of the language that I've already seen about this. So I'm looking forward to doing some of these. Physically based luminance studies. This is actually a pretty neat feature that came a few months back. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to play with it yet, but it's a really easy way to do some lighting studies inside your models, whether it's outside or whether it's using the lights that are inside your space. It's actually pretty impressive, very quick. So it's a really nice tool. But they added more features, basically giving you more option over sky control, time of day, that kind of stuff, as well as lighting, as well as like interior lighting. Panoramas. I don't know if everybody's played with the panoramas, but this is another cool feature. Always the big gripe was I had to be online and I had to send an account to somebody to be able to view these things. Well, now you can download them offline to use them, and you can also use them to browse on mobile devices like iPads and Windows 8 tablets. So they're claiming support that when you go to the website now, you can actually navigate those. Keep in mind, panoramas, since it basically does a rendering in a box, you're doing 6 renderings essentially because it's creating that box for you that you can actually spin around. So keep that in mind when you're using your credits and doing your renderings of how many you'll be using up. And public galleries. This is actually kind of nice. It gives you an idea. I was cruising around some of the public galleries that they have on there. It's pretty impressive what some people are doing. There's a lot of people who are getting a lot better results than I've been getting, so I'm going to have to figure out how they've been doing some of these. It's been pretty impressive. So, but what's great is at least it's starting to give you some context of the quality that you can get out of it. So that part's pretty neat, and you can also give feedback to others. And there's also a little blurb on there that you can go check out if you wanted to submit. They're doing like competitions as well, so you can go check that out. Not sure what the prizes are, but there's some competitions that they're doing. All right, SeaRUG for 2014, the new year. The sponsorship packages, like I mentioned earlier, they're actually posted up on our SeaRUG site, on the Meetup site. So if you go to the Pages tab and Sponsorship Info, you'll see the sponsorship packages. So if you wanted to become an associate partner, a premier, or other, and investigate that, maybe you want to partner up with SeaRUG this year, show your support, help us out, and you can get that information there. We'll also be sending out a follow-up email to the members just so they can have a link to that as well. Presenters, obviously we're always looking for presenters. Our value-added resellers that come, and they actually do great presentations throughout the year, but there's also a handful that we do that we kind of put together and put on ourselves. So we're always looking for contributions of topics ranging to Revit, BIM, collaboration, workflow, team presentations. So if you did a great project that you really want to show off, we always like to hear about those. Technical presentations are always great as well. Love to hear the real-world best practices. It's definitely great exposure for you because, as many of you know, we record these and we post them up on YouTube site. We also put handouts out, so you actually get a little bit of exposure in that regards. So if you have any questions about it or you have a topic that you want to put forth for you or your team, on the Meetup page on the left-hand side, there's an organizers little section there. You can actually email all the organizers, so it goes to all of the board members that you can say, hey, I have this presentation thing about doing, and what do you think? And one of us will definitely get back to you and talk about it. And then also the SeaRUG survey. For those of you that have been with us for a while, you know that every December we do a little survey for everybody. Ask, what do you think of the year? it's your chance to really give feedback so that we can plan the upcoming year. We have lists of topics in there. You kind of rate your topics, which ones you really want to know more about. We want to learn more about your experience levels, things like that, so that we know that presentations that we put forth will be able to target your skill sets. So definitely, we really appreciate as many people as possible to give feedback on the survey. So that'll come out, like the second week of December or so, somewhere in there. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, and on the new year, we also have some board changes. So since it's the last meeting of the year, we obviously want to bring some of this stuff up to you guys so that you'll know for next year coming up. We have a couple board members that are stepping down this year, and so one of them being Alfredo Africa. Where's Alfredo? I saw him. There he is, up there hiding in the back. He's been our website guy, so if you've ever had a problem with the website, the old website, anything with the new website, Alfredo's probably been the one that has talked with you. So been around since pretty much the beginning. We started this in mid-2006, but it didn't really start get going until 2007. So I really appreciate all of his service and support for all of thanks, Alfredo, all these years. And I myself will also be stepping away. I've been part of this organization pretty much since the beginning with Pat Byrne. And where's Pat? I should have called Pat. Had him come here today. Pat Byrne is our first president that actually started up from this group in mid-2006. And he recruited me as VP pretty much right out of the gates from those small little groups that we used to have of like about a dozen people, I think. They used to come to these things to turn it into a full-fledged Revit user group. So, and then when he stepped down at the end of 2009, I took over and been running the show since then. So, I got a lot of things going on, home, work, all that stuff. So, I've really appreciated everybody's involvement, the board members, what this thing's been going. I don't think in some regards we didn't have an idea of really how far this was going to take, and it's still going strong through all the transitions. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're still, even though we went through like kind of a reset earlier this year with the meetup site, we're still one of the largest and most well-functioning, I think, user groups in the country. Not just Northwest, not just West Coast. We're pretty much the largest one out there. So, and most consistent, especially for attendance and topics and the collaborative effort that we try to bring with everybody. So I definitely appreciate you guys coming out here, and this thing's not stopping anytime soon. So I wanted to introduce the change of guard, if you will, and that is, drum roll please, I don't have a drum roll thing, David Diarza, who's actually, come on up here, David, who's actually been my VP, the board VP, for the past, year and a half, 2 years?
A couple of years.
Yeah, okay, so David's been part of the group for a long time, and it's been really nice having him, because obviously knowing what we're doing all the time, he's been in the trenches with us, and so I know that he'll do a fantastic job in taking over and taking to the next step, and also let him introduce some of the other changes that are happening for the board for starting next year.
Okay.
So, thanks, David.
Thank you. Yeah, Rob can't taste that sweet freedom quite quickly enough, so he wanted me to finish up this for him. He's uninvested himself already emotionally. No, in all seriousness, I think, please, in addition to Alfredo, please give a big round of applause to Rob. I think it's actually no small thing, the comment you just made, that this is probably the largest organized group of its kind in the country. And, look at where we're at. We've got a great venue, we've got great participants, and I won't take a whole lot of PPI's time today. I'll save it for February. But just wanted to, right before I introduce the rest of the board, kind of mention, we're an AEC community. And to me, that word is very important, that community part. So in 2014, look to us to maybe try and figure out a way to engage you as participants, not just as an audience, a little bit more, and really build upon the community aspect. Excuse me. A big part of that is to you know, all of you play a big role in helping us, you know, make the point to our sponsors and to our executive partners that this meeting is very important to you. So, you know, as you're calling in those subscription renewals, you know, that's a perfect time to say thank you and tell them that you appreciate the fact that they sponsor SeaRUG. So please give a round of applause to our executive partners and our sponsors, because without them, this doesn't happen. So for the rest of the board for next year, you know, Vice President is going to be Lana Gockenauer from Lee Scratcher Lewis, and please do not be frightened by the fact that there are two builders at the helm of this board. We are very focused on the collaboration aspect, and I will say both of us come, you know, are recovering from a design background. Couldn't resist. You know, Chris Hubbard's going to stay as treasurer. He's been our treasurer for a long time now, and he's really kind of part of the nuts and bolts, and without him, not a whole lot happens either. So Jamie Snyder is continuing as editor. Zach Adams is moving into the place of web chair, you know, with Alfredo's departure. Ray Kemke is going to continue as our secretary. And we've got a new position. Sean Burke of MBVJ has taken over a social media chair, and so we're going to try and have, again, with that, you know, vein of thought of trying to engage the community a little bit more. We're going to try and leverage social media a little bit more to let you and other people throughout the country and the industry know what we're doing and increase our exposure. So we're excited about that. And then Justin Lopez is continuing as an at-large member, as is Rob Bendix. He's not going to just abandon us and disappear. You know, he's got way too much invested in this to let me screw it up, so he's going to keep an eye on what we're doing. You know, please reach out to the members of the board. If you are yourself interested in participating in the board and contributing to the group, please let us know, and we're always happy to have conversations with the users. And again, it's a community. We want to be engaged. We want to be a part of this community. And Rob, I'll let you get back to your job and let you finish out the year.
You finish it up, right? Yeah. Thanks, David. Okay. My last few slides. Ooh, can you feel it? All right. So I guess to kind of wrap it up about the drawings, as you know, we've been doing a lot of SeaRUG drawings at the end of the meetings. So keep in mind, you must be present to win. And if you RSVP'd on the meetup site, that's how we get all of our name list. So if you're a +1 or one of the +2s, and the person that brought you wins, you might have to try to make a deal or something. All right. So hopefully that'll, if anything, encourage you to sign up with your own account and register RSVP and come to the meeting so you can be part of the drawing. So yeah, we have 4 cards, and actually we do have an additional REI gift card from the PPI group as well. So we'll be drawing for 5 at the end. Is it a 25, 100, 200? No, I'm just kidding. It's a what? It's a what? $100. Nice. I mean, there's only 4 Amazon gift cards that are going to be drawn today. No, just kidding. Okay, so that'll be the final one. All right. So with that said, come to the part where we talk about our sponsors. We'll let them take the podium for a minute and tell them a little bit about what's going on. So we, throughout the year, obviously this is not going to change anytime soon, but we really appreciate their support to the group, because obviously without them and without you guys, this thing doesn't really get put on. So, and helping us maintain this free learning environment, we really appreciate that. And for this month, we have PPI Group is sponsoring, one of our executive partners for 2013. And I'd like to introduce Wendy Finch, who's the Director of Marketing for the PPI Group. Tell us a little bit about what's going on, and introduce our presenter as well. Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you. So I'm not going to take up too much of Chris's time here, but I did want to kind of let you know what's going on with PPI. I am newly appointed into the marketing manager position. Most of you probably are familiar with Don and she stepped down and is pursuing other dreams and aspirations. And so this transition just happened a couple of weeks ago. So forgive me, I'm a little bit new. I've been with PPI for just almost a year now, managing the services department. So if you called in for our tech support, it might have been me that you spoke with, or if you've organized any training or taken any classes with us, maybe I helped facilitate that as well over the last year. So although I'm relatively new to PPI, you guys probably are not. So here's the rundown. You probably know all of this stuff already. It's probably been told to you a few times. Obviously, the point being is we are, well established in the industry and well established in our communities. And so just kind of want to point that out. Long-standing company. Two of the things that I really want to bring attention to is our training rooms, our training centers. We have both. We have training centers in Portland and in Kent, and then our ability to mobilize. We have the largest computer lab that we can take on site, so within the Northwest here. So we can come to you, makes it often a lot easier and less downtime. So just a couple of things that's going on with us. I want to let you know you're going to be getting your next catalog coming out about all of our trainings. We've added some new classes, so please take time to look that over. That'll be out in the mail in the next few weeks. So lots of new things happening in our training and services. I want to personally invite all of you to attend our next event, December 11th, Getting Control of Your Data. We're going to be hosting that at the Courtyard Marriott here in Seattle. And our guest speaker is going to be John Jansen from Autodesk. And so it's actually a breakfast event. So we're going to feed you and give you all kinds of great ideas and knowledge as far as controlling your data. Obviously, the primary focus here is the Autodesk Vault, but hopefully you'll go away with one or two really good ideas on how you can become more productive and more efficient within your workday. The other thing I want to do real quickly is one of our 2013 initiatives was to develop and create a little more robust of a Revit team, and we've successfully did that. So I want to share with you who that team is and give you just a little bit on those folks, either in our Kent office or working out of our Portland office. But we're all kind of road warriors and getting to know that I-5 corridor real well. So I just want to do a real quick rundown so that you have an idea of what we can offer and who's behind the scenes providing this for you. So our first team member is Matt Ottinger. Matt's a licensed architect since 2004. He's been a Revit user since 2007. We call him definitely a super user. He's participated in his last two firms in some pilot implementation projects with Revit, and then on the management team to implement standards and so forth. So he truly comes from, that practical environment and can pass on that to your team. So he is doing a lot of projects with PPI and our customers and doing some consulting, and he's just wrapping up he was the lead on a project that we're just wrapping up, and we trained over 50 multi-level users for one firm, and he's doing a fair bit of consulting as far as helping them set up their template and standards. So Matt's relatively new. Has joined us just this past summer and is quite the asset. Many of you probably know Doug. Doug kind of helps round out our Revit team with his Autodesk experience, and he's primarily, he's our Autodesk support and installation and licensing expert, but with that comes the Revit server implementation. And so there's really, truly nobody better at doing this and having that knowledge base than Doug. So if you're looking to, get started on the right foot, this is the way to do it from the installation. Crystal has, again, a practical experience as an AutoCAD technician, and she makes a great asset. Her focus is Revit structure, so she kind of helps round out that team. Our newest member is Jesse. Jesse is also helping us implement and launch our Inventor series that'll be starting in January. But because of his 10 years of experience as a Revit user, he kind of helps backfill for our big projects, and when the other folks are doing big projects so that we can dedicate them to the customer, Jesse helps backfill. So then that leads me into your presenter for today. And this is Chris Ritter. And Chris is our Revit team leader. He has a vast knowledge in everything Revit, quite frankly. His specialty is Revit MEP. And he also comes from a practical environment as a BIM and CAD manager, working for a multidiscipline engineering firm for over 12 years. So Chris definitely has that been there, done that experience. So if you are looking for someone to come in and just need that overall knowledge base, this is the guy that can do that. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let Chris share all that experience.
Thank you, ma'am. Can everyone hear me? Thank you. I talk really loud and fast, and that's okay. I'm not going to go full screen on my PowerPoint. Good content needs great organization. As just a little bit more about me, who is this guy standing in front of you? I work for Colin Robertson, multidisciplinary firm in Austin, Texas, for 12 years. Worked my way up from MEP drafter. Taught myself some AutoLisp. Made myself faster. Worked my way up. We even tried to implement AutoCAD architecture in 2004. I was in charge of creating all those styles for Revit architecture. For AutoCAD architecture. We even used Project Navigator. Anyone use Project Navigator? Come on, it's awesome. All right. So we started Revit implementation in 2008. I like to say we went from 0 to 60 in 4 years. We had 60 Revit projects, ranging from small ADA bathroom renovations, large press boxes at Texas State and San Marcos, lots of big hospitals, K through 12, middle school, elementary school, high school renovations, new buildings. We had one model, or we had multiple models. Since we have multiple offices, we would split up those models. Sometimes we'd have 5 models, just because of staffing. And we want to make sure we could move those models from location to location, so when someone had a priority on another project, someone else could take over. And it was fun. And there's my LinkedIn if you're into that sort of thing. Just quick agenda. Network organization, since I was in charge of all the content, training users, 75 lunch and learns over 3 years. I was in charge of that. So in Sandboxes, everyone needs a place to play for their project. My glasses, I need bifocals. Standard details. Everyone's converted all the standard details from AutoCAD, right? No one uses the black screen of death anymore? No? Tough crowd. All right. Upgrade process for your content. And naming conventions. What do you name it? How hard is it to find, or how easy it is to find? A little review, and then I have 3 or 4 little bonus things for you. I talk really fast. Reel me in. Wendy will throw her sandwich at me if I'm going too fast. You'd understand me. I moved to the Portland area just last December. My wife finally got a job to fit her higher education PhD. She's the smart one. So we're in Portland State University now. I didn't get fired or anything. So network organization, IT cooperation. Hopefully you use those 2 words in the same sentence in a positive manner. You're gonna need IT cooperation and collaboration and communication, because you as a content manager, need to have a place to put your stuff, where there's just doors, windows, walls, templates, etc. So you might have some work there to do, or maybe you're the IT guy. You're going to need a place to put that locked down so you have right access to that location. Everyone else has read-only because you're in charge of the content. A little bit about deployment management. Everyone's made a deployment, or if you haven't made a deployment, it's kind of a dark science. You have to practice. How I practiced was I downloaded a VirtualBox, a free virtual machine, and installed that on my work computer, downloaded all the setup files, and just started hacking away until I got it just right. So I understood everything that I needed to understand so I could deploy it one time and one time only and not go to each and every machine and fix things, whether it be Revit or AutoCAD profiles, etc. Print drivers, all that sort of thing. So I highly recommend that virtual machine. Maybe you're going to make deployments that are just for you, a full deployment. It downloads everything for you because there's a way to hack that installation where you don't download any content. Revit, well, maybe just Revit will take a little bit shorter period of time, or if you're installing the whole suite. So those things you just practice. You throw them away. Get it perfect. Install it one time. A little folder example of what I did. Now, this is not going to fit. You're going to see here just kind of an example of how I've done it in my evolution of learning all this stuff. It's not the only way to do it. It's not going to fit your infrastructure, your IT. You just have to start building and building piece by piece and get it and make a good system and document everything. So Revit deployments, AutoCAD, Autodesk deployments, they don't read map drives. I'm just using this iDrive as an example. They read the UNC number or UNC path / server 1 / something, 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 whatever that might be. Keep that nice and short when you get with your IT people for your own little CAD manager for your own BIM manager location. So for example, I just made an Autodesk deploy folder. And then I break this out. So there's 2014 Building Design Suite Ultimate W7 64-bit. If you're not using 32-bit anymore, you probably don't have to put that on there, but that's the way I do it. There's one for Windows 8 64-bit. So you might have 3 or 4 different deployments. Revit only, so you have a project engineer or manager, principal. I just do a full install of Revit and teach them how to use the Revit viewer shortcut so they don't grab a license. Keep it really simple and just name it exactly what it is. And show your IT how to do it. Maybe they have an image, hopefully they have an image of a standard computer that they can just roll out whenever you want to. Let's see here. I&I hacks. So in your practice let's see here. There we go. Where is that bad boy? So this is your Revit I&I. This is what stores all of your paths for your shortcuts on your open dialog box and other areas. So you want to plan out where you have your content on your server. You're going to hack the deployment so it doesn't download any of that extra stuff. It's really fast, especially for Revit. And then you can start to build, okay, so where do I want my default library locations to be? And you're going to point that to your R drive, R for Revit. That's all your content. You as a content manager, since you do a full install of your machine, you're going to copy that out of the box content, copy it and paste it right up to the network. And I'll show you the example of that in a little bit. That allows your user to click a button. They don't care where it is. They just want the content. It's standard. It's there. If you want to modify something or delete it, you can. It affects all the users. You don't have to go to each and every machine. So just an example, you can set up import line weights, put that on your R drive, look up tables for MEP, have total control of that. You might have a couple of users who are power users, have their own lookup tables for MEP content, or they download some content and it has that lookup table there also in that download. So you need to put it somewhere that's available for everyone in the firm. External parameters. Here's additional render appearance paths. I'll touch on this a little bit later, but so rendering. You gotta have a sandbox for rendering and all those images, so it's available to everyone. You don't have those images saved to your C drive. The next person opens up the model. They don't have that special brick pattern or carpet pattern for render. Templates. Default template. You strip that out. Get your company template so no one makes a project from the wrong template. Again, this is kind of advanced stuff or advanced information for deployments. A little bit of practice, a little bit of setup and planning with IT. You can make it really, really easy for yourself. What's next here? We have how many people have multiple offices or multiple servers? Isn't it awesome keeping everything in sync? So I had an issue. They wouldn't give me money for a sync program or give me any IT time. They left it up to me. So what I did, let me show you. Way too many drives. There's my R drive. That's all my standard content. Keynotes, my library, materials, shared parameters, the template. Well, I have another office in some town far away. There's my Z drive. So I'm selective. I just want to copy my standard Keynote file to the remote office, the library, the template that I update all the time. Because my R drive, that's the master. Everyone else has read-only to that in the remote office. So when they need something, they call me up, email me. I can change stuff, delete stuff, and sync it all up. So how do I do that? I will go to, losing track, way too many folders here. I just use SyncToy. Everyone heard of SyncToy? It's free from Windows or from Microsoft. So my left folder is my master folder. My right folder is my Z folder in the remote office. I can schedule this. And so if I rename or delete something on the left, it automatically goes to the right. You schedule it for 6 a.m. in the morning, 6 p.m. at night when you're gone, leave your computer on. It just automatically runs. You never have to worry about it. I've tried Dropbox. They don't like that too much. They can put stuff in there and delete stuff. Your IT may have some other ways they're doing this, so get with them. Maybe they don't want to deal with it. Show them this, say, okay, I'll deal with it myself. Sandboxes. Play nice in the sandbox. Yes, sir.
I have a question back to the network. The deployment packages, excuse me. Have you found a trick or a way that might help in updating those deployment packages, like when updates come out? Because it seems like it can be a rather painful experience to add updates because not all, when you modify packages, not all of them like it too much to be modified, and so you almost have to rebuild the entire thing. I mean, what's your experience with it?
I've never added a service pack to the deployment. Even if one's already out and I'm making my standard deployment, that's a task for later. I've just never had it work.
Okay.
So I just have IT schedule it in their little magic MSI, whatever thing they do.
Right.
And do it at night or the whatnot. Another thing on the deployments is I never add a desktop shortcut. So I'm working with IT. I don't want the users to know that, hey, 2015 is installed. Let's open up a project with it without planning anything. So half the time they don't even know what's going on, which is a good thing sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah, I've never tried to add a service pack. It just never works for some reason. There's a utility. It's called Revit Deployment Utility from Autodesk 2012. I'm pretty sure it works with 14, if anyone knows, but it modifies all those INIs for you and deletes the content download, makes it a little bit faster. Just check it out. Play nice in the sandbox. We're all in this together. The AEC industry is crazy. We all have different attitudes and experiences. So play nice in the sandbox. A location for your sandbox. I say not local. If you've got a big project and your local drive is probably not being backed up, so you have all the family content in there, you're downloading stuff. Maybe it's just a two-person team. They're making special doors and the whatnot. They're saving on their local. Their computer crashes. Or the next person working on the project has all this content. They use the project directory, and now you've got 3 different versions of that content. One in the local, one in the sandbox, and one in the project. So make a space for that. Here's my little example for a sandbox. Here's my J drive for jobs. Here's my project number. There's my Revit folder. And there's where my model is. I keep my library up above the model, or same level as the model. And there's where the user is going to store their content. How did I get this folder? I copied the out-of-the-box content to my C drive, deleted all the RFAs and all the text files for the family types, catalogs, and made a little skeleton. Paste this into your project setup. Whoever sets that up, this comes in empty for every single project. It might be a little detailed. You could take out all the subfolders if you want. So if someone's because how many people are really going to sort their Division 5 model detail components in the project? Just give it one place, detail items. Materials. Came up with a solution with a couple of users who were pretty high-end. On my R drive, we just made our own Autodesk material library that we could copy the out-of-the-box materials to that library. Everyone in that office had access to it. And then we made a subfolder in here. This was full read and write for everybody, so they had to manage it on their own. They would put the project number in front of the material name and project number in front of the image files and keep it all straightened out so they could always go back to one place and get that special red paint or carpet or whatever it might be. And how you do that, let's see here. If I go to Big Blue R, Options, Frank Rizzo's my name, Rendering, you add that path right there. You probably don't want to have that going across to another. Each office should have their own folder for this, right? Because you don't want this going across the network trying to get images when you render. A lot of training, documentation, and process for people to learn and use. Standard details. Converting those details, getting rid of the black screen of death or AutoCAD. Organization is important, inserting and documenting those. Do a quick conversion right here for, keep on going to the wrong place. 1 second. I will find it. Shh, quiet. Let's see here. Where is that one? Awesome. I'll go over all the folders that I have and explain a little bit more in my review. Everyone's seen a process for converting AutoCAD details? Or how many people have been involved in that? Ooh, not too many. It's a good thing to learn. Stop linking in AutoCAD to Revit. Please. So, when you import, I don't trace over my detail. I import it and explode it. And how I do that is, I wrote a list routine of all of the legacy detail layers that we had, and did a layer merge, and wrote those to a layer that's the same name as the Revit line styles, because that turns. So now, when I explode this, it's automatically on those line styles. I don't have to convert anything really. It saves me lots of time. How I did that was go into AutoCAD, go in Model Space. Collect all your standard details that have been approved, not just grabbing stuff from projects. You're going to have a detail master, manager, guy who's signing and sealing those and get those approved. Anyway, so put those all in the model space, sort them by type, sort them by scale, and start merging those layers. In AutoCAD 14, you can do that without Lisp. It's a visual command now. You can do a layer merge. Anybody can do it, even your summer intern who's really cheap. Teach them, get a process, teach them how to do this. You'll have a big detail library for the rest of your firm's history. What else do I want to cover on that? All right, so I imported this. This is from a detail conversion template. It has all my standard stuff in here. So all I have to do is import, explode, change properties of lines, save it somewhere, and then I can import it later on. Yes, sir.
If anybody else here like me, they're probably like squirming in their seats when you say explode CAD.
Yes.
How have you been able to, like, I mean, the trick with being able to merge lines, that's actually really interesting, but how do you clean up a lot of that, residual metadata that's just tends to store? I mean, you're purging, are there functions to be able to help you notice to actually get rid of that stuff?
Purge. So in this template, there's their standard line styles. So does everyone hear the question? Like exploding, never explode a DWG in a project. Yeah. Well, I'm not exploding in a project. This is my project that's specifically for converting details. So
you're just doing these off to the side.
Yep, this is like a 3 megabyte template that I'm opening up.
I see. This is kind of a staging working area.
Yep, exactly. And then, so in here, there's all my standard fill patterns, concrete, steel, whatever it might be. Just think of everything you can, put it in here for detailing, for converting to detail. The best way I found out was get a whole bunch of details, import it in there, explode them all, and see what shows up. Meaning my fill patterns, my lines, because you're getting a center line, you're getting a hidden line, which is kind of out of the box, but if you want to customize those. How many line hierarchies do you have? Because you only need 3 line hierarchies, you know that, right? Thin, medium, and wide. But most firms have 10 or 12. So make those line styles in there so you can convert those and make them look like AutoCAD. And then someone complains, it doesn't look like AutoCAD. So you print both of them out at the same time, AutoCAD and Revit, hang it up, have a contest in your office. See who can match up which is Revit, which is AutoCAD. And then they kind of get the idea that it'll be all right. It's going to look fine. So never explode in your production project. So I'm going to do a full explode. Chug, chug, chug. Set your scale of that drafting view first. Otherwise, your text is going to scale up and down. Select everything. Filter. Check none. There's my AutoCAD line layer. I want that to go to number 1. Select everything again. Filter. Check none. There's my G2. I want that to be extra fine. Select everything. Filter. Check none. You get the drift. Okay. 3, I want that to be fine. Select all this, filter. One more. Those G lines, that's the leaders. I'm going to leave those for now. There's my text notes. You have your standard text style in here. You're all good. There's these leaders turn into fill patterns. So you could select that and put it to your standard solid black fill pattern and maybe just leave that leader line. Heck with the leaders. Or you can add the leaders. I fake it. So you can, well, this one right here, you just got to change to the line hierarchy, right? Because Revit can't do that. Well, it can, because it's just right there. You just have to change the lines. But to answer your question, annotate, please be in here. Awesome. An OR fake. Everyone knows this trick, right? Little tiny text. Right? Because all your details aren't going to be at scale. There would be cartoons. Bad practice, I know. But now you can make this 12 inches if you want. Come on. There you go. Really tiny 256 text. Faker. Faking it. Okay, so I'm done converting everything. I hit the manage, purge unused, click OK. I'm going to go File, Save As, Project. Where do I want to keep this? I want to keep this in my H drive. Standards. Hey, look, I have a standards folder. How many people have those? Hope everybody. Detail library. That's the architectural detail. We start sorting these out. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it 09-roof details. And I know I'm going to call this, so now I'm going to call this, whoops, 09-00 pipe roller support detail. Save. So not all users are going to be able to do this. The detail master, whoever has the key, is going to do this after this detail gets approved by your firm and it doesn't cause any lawsuits. So I've saved that. I'm going to just start a new architectural template. I've got a big, huge, expensive building. I need a roller roof detail, whatever it was called. Insert from File, insert views from File, go to my H drive, Standards, Detail Library, Architectural, Roof Details. Open that up. I just want that one drafting view. Click OK to replace those, or not replace those. And now I have a drafting view of my standard detail in my project, just like that. Less than 30 seconds. I know as a designer and architect and project manager that that is the detail we use. That's our approved detail. It's not going to cause any issues. And I'm done. Go one step further. Insert from File, insert views from File. Go back to my H drive again. Standards, Detail Library, Mechanical Details. Look, I have 4 detail sheets for mechanical details. I'm just going to check the sheets because those drafting views are already on those sheets. So since those are already on the sheets, they're going to bring them in automatically. So I'm going to click OK. And click OK. This is where my coworker spent a week in between everything else that he did and converted these with the template. He probably spent, he guessed, he didn't keep track, I asked him to. He probably spent 12 hours just converting these. So there's 4 sheets and probably 50 drafting views straight from AutoCAD. They look exactly like AutoCAD. Once you get going, it takes like less than 5 minutes to convert a detail. So what did that put in here? There's my ductwork details. There's my piping details. There's whatever those, yeah, more piping details. Some equipment details. Print these out. This is in your production project. Now print this out, hand it to the engineer. He gets a big red X. He X's them, we're not using this, we're not using this. He hands it back to you. And then you just remove them from the sheet. You can delete the drafting views from the model. I don't, because I know in 2 weeks I have to go find it again because they made a mistake. Because I was always the one who fixed their mistakes, right? Oh, what else on that? So just one single drafting view. Okay, so how do you document that? In my, let's see, what is that? That's my H drive, right? Standards, Detail Library. I've gotten together with a team. There's my stair views, same thing. Brings in a sheet full of my standard stair and ramp details. Here's my interior details. So I'm starting to break this down. So 07 interior details. Put the 07 in front of there. You can sort things out alphanumerically, wherever you want to say that. Break it down by discipline, sheet type, view type, whatever you want. Just start breaking it down so you can find it. There's my partition views. So I'm a big sheet of all my standard partition section details. Here's my typical fur down detail. Cool. So how do people find these? That's the biggest complaint I got. I think we used 3 add-ons for Revit content. While I was there, I couldn't keep anyone happy, so we just finally stuck with 1. Biggest thing is, everyone knows you just hit F3, right? in Windows and search for anything you want, or Control F. So now I can just say, okay, where's all my details containing ceiling? Oh, there's my detail. I mean, that's going to be, we all know these standard details are going to be RVTs. Oh, ceiling isn't in there? Did I misspell it? Embarrassing. Hit enter. Now it's going slow. It'll find it. Did you hate when it worked this morning? Now it doesn't work. So weird. Also, we found my power user, my detail master, and the IT guy. We're trying to figure out how to document all this instead of the users going to Windows Explorer, hitting Control F, kind of hopefully make it a little bit easier for them. So we found the IT guy did. He made it happen. dir HTML. So it takes your directory and turns it into an HTML page that you can put on your intranet, on their server, put a shortcut on your user's desktop. So I'm going to build this. Where's the file? So now going to my H standards, I have a list of all my standard detail files. Just keeps on growing and growing. Open Revit prior to linking the link. You also, one thing you have to watch out for is this. We're in 2013 now, or 14. You want to keep these back a version or two when you edit these, right? Because if these are all 2013 and you still have a 2012 project, you can't import these in. So keep them back 1 or 2 versions. And that's just controlled by the education people knowing what they're doing. I want to see what's in my stair views. I can just click on that because I have Revit open already. There's all my stair views. Maybe I just want to see what's in there. Maybe I just want to Control C and copy and paste just one drafting view to another project because that's the only one I need, or it got deleted from that project. Pretty simple. And this is all read-only, so they can't mess anything up. Well, they could, but they won't. A couple more things. Ooh, I didn't think I had enough time. Upgrade process. That is what I've done in the past. Here's my R drive. 2015 is coming out this March. I download everything right when it's ready. I start testing deployments. My date has always been July 15th. It'd be all ready to go, and I'd have the IT install it. Users won't even know it. Then I introduce the new features. Autodesk is expensive sometimes. Might as well have someone who's managing this, and you want to be ahead of the crowd as far as that goes. And so when you get a new job, someone's on 2015, you're like, yep, we're in 2015, let's go. I'm all for it. So what I do, I would just copy that whole folder and then rename it. And then there is a little batch utility provided by Autodesk. I copy those things, that batch file and that text file, I copy those and I put those in the, let's see here, I'm going to put it in here. I just copied one little thing. I put it in there. I double-clicked on this batch file. That creates a text file. It could include subfolders, so there's going to be like 5,000 files. You can double-click on that batch file. It creates that fam list RFA text file. That's a list of files that it wants to upgrade. You drag and drop this text to your Revit icon, maybe 4 o'clock on a Friday, because it's going to take all weekend. And I'll run through everything and upgrade it for you. Or you have a spare machine, ask the IT for a spare box or something, or someone's gone for a week on vacation, use their machine so you don't have to tie yours up. Okay, naming conventions. Name it what it is. Find it faster. Get rid of user complaints. Users are going to complain that you're not doing your job because they can't find a door. Well, name it so they can find it. Because you either have the family, or you don't have the family, or it got lost or deleted. It's there somewhere. So an example convention for naming. Oh, let me take a, okay, remind me about converting details after this, please. This may be a little over the top. My users thought I was nuts, but that's okay. I kind of minimized the, after I showed them F3, they could find any door they wanted or any item they wanted. This is all on the internet. It's all there in the forums. I've just modified it to ours. Probably needs to be updated. So starting off with an identifier, number sign, PPI. That puts everything to the top of your type selector so you can find it right away. And then a category. What kind of category is it? Is it air terminal? Is it a security device? A site item? Electrical fixture? What type is it? You manufacturer if it's optional? Description? Host? Is it floor hosted? They can find that. Or if they don't have a floor or wall, they can't use that family. TC is type catalog based, because you can drag and drop a family, but if it's type catalog, family type catalog based, it won't pick up that box and give you all the 500 different sizes that you need. So you got to tell the user that, hey, you got to load it from Revit. You can't just drag and drop it. So at the bottom, there's just an example of some of the family names. A little overboard, you think? No? You like it? Good. I hope you like it. Back to converting drawings to standard details. I sat down, converted all these details. I just started typing out a list. Here's what I do. Open up an old AutoCAD project, W-block out just that little roof roller detail. Strip the M text out, D-text, run a little command to change all the layers to your Revit layers, or Revit named layers. Do a full explode. Just a 3-page thing. Hey, here's how you're going to convert a detail. Print it and get it approved by. That's good. All right, what else? I'm running out of time. I'll go a little bit faster. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I think just perfect. One thing I wanted to show you. I've got a wall here. I want to find a door. I can go to architecture, door. Load my family, go to my R drive, right? Library, architecture, there are doors. I want to find all the double doors. There's all my double doors. Pretty easy to find stuff. I want to find all the doors that are wood. There's all my wood doors, a steel frame. Pretty quick and easy to find stuff, especially if you have 500 families in one directory. Okay, so just a little quick review. Hopefully I've answered some of these questions or made you ask these questions. Biggest thing is have users find the content. Get the content organized. It's going to save you money in the end. Just to go over real quick, kind of my directory structure. So here's H, standards, detail library. That's where I put all my standard details. I drive for install all your deployments. Not that you can have map drives or anything. J drive for jobs. I keep the library at the same level of the model or the folder because when I archive a project, I just want to right click on that and archive it because all the links are in there. I don't need to archive the library. It's already in the model. I drive, R drive, keynote. Shared parameters, you can download from seek.autodesk.com, their standard, I think it's from 2009, shared parameter file, and use that as a start. Or find a utility, if you already have a shared parameter file, that only you can write to and no one else. I think there's a utility where you can merge two files together. So you can get that standard, typical Autodesk CFM parameter or width parameter, or whatever it might be. A few bonus things, what you can do with good content. Here is spent about 8 hours converting all of our AutoCAD blocks for electrical risers to detail items. Started making the electrical engineer stop linking in AutoCAD and use Revit to draft. So what is this thing? That's just this rectangle, right? Has some detail item. Here, it has some parameters on here. Those parameters fit our standard, or fit the standard color legend for new, existing, demo, future, not in contract, different electrical systems, different uses on the right, lots of different colors. Here's just a little example. All right, so there's some existing risers. Here's your new riser, or new panels. Here's some other colors down here for different systems. Get rid of AutoCAD. Couple more things. I've used AutoHotkey. It's like a scripting language. It's free. You can automate keyboard shortcuts or keyboard actions. So what I did was, we used keynotes, annotate, tag. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clicks to reload that keynote database. Or you can just type Windows K and it'll just do it for you. Bonus, it's awesome. I was expecting oohs and ahs on that one. It's your J drive. I set up all the Revit projects. You didn't see that part. I was tired of manually copying their standard keynote file and renaming it and putting it to the project. So I just double click on here. It goes and grabs our standard keynote setting or keynote file, copies it to here, and renames it with the project number or the project name. Let's see here. Awesome. All right. I appreciate your patience, your attention. Any questions, comments, complaints, gripes, or qualms? Nothing? Yes, sir. Okay. What's the purpose of having a library folder in the project folder? And the purpose of that, let me see right here. All right. That is a library where users, it's their sandbox. So if they grab a standard door from our standards and they modify it, they can store it there, or not store it there, just keep it in the project. Or if they download something from Revit City, or find a cool family, they can put it in there, and then hopefully you do a post-mortem. It's scheduled on your project. That project manager, whoever's in charge of that model for the project, they can say, oh, I have a family, I want to put it in standards. They can email it to the key master or detail master and put it in standards. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah, that would be the extension on those files there. Well, it could be an RFA file, which is a Revit family file. It could be an RVT that could hold system families like walls and ductwork, stuff like that. Yes, sir?
Is there a particular reason you're putting your standard details on different Revit project files? Why wouldn't you just put them all in one?
That's a good question. Ease of finding it for the users is what was our reason. So because you put it all in one, but then you have to open that project up and scroll through everything. Because usually you're just looking for one. Or I guess you look for one, or I had 4 sheets of mechanical details, right? It's a matter of what the team wants and what your workflow is. Come on, one more.
How do you deal with manufacturer content that's not named properly?
I had a folder in there that was manufacturing MEP, and people could just do it sorted by manufacturer, and we just kept it the same name. Because especially if you're going to get a lookup table from MEP or a family catalog file, you got to mess around with that. And half the time those files don't even work anyway. Yes, sir.
Do you have a method of dealing with duplicate families, or just trying to avoid it in the first place?
The question is, do I have a method for managing duplicate families, right? So when I import in those 4 sheets of mechanical details, for the tile block, for example, That's just a blank title block that you probably have to replace. So you don't have two versions of your same title block. So that's one way. But then for like the detailed view titles, is that what your thing is?
Detail items, like any detail items or special
Yeah.
families might have made that get imported from the standards, but then say that it gets imported from an older project, and now Revit wants to have to be both in the same measure. One, and one with the name of the
So
one.
yeah, because when you import the same name, it'll add a 1 to it, right? I do not have a method to answer your question. We just let it go. But if you start with your standards, right, if you have a standard like the standard detail conversion template, it's all your families. The graphics are the same. I mean, you've set up all their standards. There'll be duplicate families, but the graphics will be the same because you set them all up, so you're coming from the same source. Going once, going twice. I think I had. Contact me anytime. There's my email. I love talking about this stuff. I hope you thought it was worthwhile. Let me know what you think.
All right. All right, thank you very much. Actually, I did not come to the meeting today expecting to hear a good reason to explode CAD files in Revit. So I'm quite interested in that. I'm going to have to go mess around with that little concept. It's really interesting. So thank you, Chris, for coming out and presenting for us. I want to say thank you, of course, PPI Group for hosting this month, being a part of the group this year as usual. We'll get to drawing in just 1 second, and just to let you know that Chris and Wendy and Jesse and Brian, they'll be from PPI, they'll all be around here hanging out. So if you've got any questions, follow up, we'll talk about some additional things. Feel free to hang out. So just before we get to the drawing, so our next meeting is going to be February 19th. So we got a couple of months. We normally, before the holidays, take December off. January is always a big month for planning, and the board gets together and kind of starts mapping out the year and getting everything organized for a February start. So, and also, again, look for the SeaRUG survey to come out in mid-December. We appreciate it to get as much feedback as possible from that. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a safe and happy holidays, and we will see you next year. Feel free to hang out and grab some extra lunches if you didn't get enough, or grab a cookie for the road. Thanks, everyone.